accident.
Welcome to pre-production of GEFA Live.
Let me get.
We're giving you an inside look here.
And what goes on behind the scenes.
No, I jumped the gun. That's my fault.
Boom.
All right, Trey, start us off.
Dan, you want to go ahead and throw the intro, and I'll bounce off you.
Yeah, sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Inside the GEFA. I am your somewhat of a host, kind of an announcer, Danny Morales. I'm here with James and Thor. How are you fellas doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Awesome. And now I'm going to throw to our moderator for this evening, Mr. Trey Rappaport. Take it away, cowboy.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. As you guys know, I am your moderator today. All of the other ones before me have been either below par or average. So I'm looking to step that up a little bit. A couple of announcements, and I'm going to let James and Thor explain them and stuff, but I'll touch on them just off rip. June 19th, it's been announced that the banquet will be held, hosted by King Smith. I believe a former GOAT coach is going to be getting roasted and some other things going on there. The very next day, June 20th, is the All-Star game at Southern Columbia.
July.
July. Yeah, whoops. Okay, so all this is in July, right?
Yes.
All right, and there you go. Moderator off to a good start. July 27th is the 5K. And all those topics, I'm going to go ahead and let James and Thor explain while I get set up over here.
All right, so like Trey was saying, July 19th, we are doing a type of a banquet award ceremony, like a GEFA honors type thing. But we're doing one thing better with it. We're going to do the roast of Mr. Brent Melhorn. We're going to have some people there that's going to be able to roast our good buddy and try to have some fun with it. If people want to be a part of the board that roasts Brent, please let me know. The event is going to be hosted by comedian and a former GEFA alumni, King Smith. Thor, I think he played for you and the Hitmen.
Correct.
In his tenure. He also does King's Corner for us. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes with Inside the GEFA. Tavares says we better have security. I think it's going to be a good event. I know Kasim and I talked about it. In theory, it's a good idea, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong and probably will. Mr. Beastie. But
I heard this one will be live on Netflix as well.
Actually, I was thinking about doing it on premium YouTube.
That's like the After Dark stuff, like X-rated
YouTube. Sure, we'll go with that. I was not ready for you to go in that direction, but yeah, we'll go with that. Also, we will have a DJ there, so we'll have some fun with that. We'll give out the awards. We'll have presenters. And then we will go on to do the roast. And then at the end of it, we will let Melhorn defend himself.
I was going to ask that.
What's that? Were we going to allow him to defend himself?
Yeah, if he was going to come up and roast everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, if you're being roasted, you got to defend yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, Drake got. Never mind.
That's a different roast, buddy. And then the next day, we will be doing our All-Star event. We will be doing at Southern Columbia. Coach Roth will be our honorary marshal. We'll be having our GEFA games, and we'll be having a bunch of different events for point systems. And we were going to have an Olympic style medal ceremony afterwards. We're also be going to have the an all-star flag game against the Special Olympics. Danny, if you're playing, just know we're lighting you up.
James, do I look like I can play flag football?
Absolutely not, but I
Precisely.
thought maybe you were feeling froggy.
You know what? You want me to
Good.
play? I'll
Yeah,
play.
Danny.
Let's go. I've always wanted to try flag football because it's
Good.
football without getting tackled. So you know what? Count me in. Let's go.
All right. So,
Let's
all right,
go.
Dan. Since you're feeling froggy on this is what we'll do. I'll let you be mic'd up, and then I'll be mic'd up,
Yes.
and then we'll do this.
Exactly what we
Sounds
want.
good. I'm sure we won't take it easy on you, GEFA folks.
Oh, stop it. But after the GEFA games, we will be doing our All-Star game. Should be a great time at Southern Columbia. July 27th, we are doing our first ever 5K down in Millersburg. Skylar Hoffman is doing his own the map out of where we're going to be doing the 5K. Just to have fun with it. It's going to be for the GEFA Fallen Brothers Scholarship. All the money will be going to that. I know there's a lot of people in the league who have kids that are getting close to being able to go to college, and I think this is a great way for the GEFA to give back and help out. So we will be doing that. Also down in Millersburg, where we're mapping this out, is the first ever GEFA game was played down at Millersburg. So you'll get to see some history there. I'm trying to get John Thieline, Travis Roble, Bill Smith down there, our founding, to see if we could make it something that we could do every year. Dor, your take?
I mean, I like the events. The idea of doing the banquet and roasting Brent is great. I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to participate in that, and then adding in the actual awards for the year. It's just a great pairing. So I'm sure that event will do well. I know there's a lot of details that you got involved in the GEFA games, and again, the more participation we get in that, the better it'll be. And I think that the way you're trying to lay it out for them is going to be way above anything we've been able to pull off so far. And the 5K, I mean, hopefully that goes great. I don't really know much as far as the details on that. I'm not much of a runner. But it's like a great thing that you're trying to set up for the fun, for the benefit people from around the league. And I mean, it's cool that we're trying to do better things and using our ability, for the better.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I think it's going to be a good event. Trey, there's something wrong with you.
What?
There's something wrong with you. I'm looking at the comments. Trey, what's your take on all this?
On all the events and stuff? I mean, it's nice.
I know you've been in a couple other leagues.
Yeah.
So I just want to get your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not going to get like super hyped. I'm probably not going to go. I think, it's cool. All the stuff you asked me what I think about it. But yeah, no, I think it's
we could have left that part out.
You're right. Fair enough. see you guys there at the Bonanza in July. But yeah, I think it's cool. It's a lot of extra stuff GEFA can do for the players and get everybody together and build that camaraderie. And I mean, who are the roasters? I got to go back to that.
We haven't decided who's doing it yet. I know Tavares says he wants to.
Okay. All right.
You got to go just for that part.
Yeah. I was about to say, I mean, it's got to be like Tavares, Thor, you, like old Auntie. I'm not saying it's got to go back in history a little bit. And new guys.
Yeah.
Want to talk shit.
All right. Let's move on. Get into the games.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna.
No, Brandon, I don't think Kim K is showing up for this one.
Nah, well, I don't think she can get booed at this one. But different audience. But on to the games that just took place this past weekend. We had what looks like about 5. I'll just start from the bottom of the list, move up. Raptors Crusaders 1 p.m. game. It was 50-6. The Raptors won. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it was pretty close to what everybody thought it was going to be. I really don't think there was really much of a surprise when it came to that game. 50-6, the Raptors got their first win against a nightmare the week before, and they went into this game probably light and showed what they were doing and built their confidence. I think
What'd you see on film?
I didn't. When do you expect me to have time to watch film?
Time that everybody else makes. President?
I don't know.
Roger Goodell watches every game.
Their inbox blown up about nonsense.
Roger Goodell watches every game before Monday.
Stop it. No, he doesn't.
All right. I don't know, but it could be. It sounded real for a second.
Yeah, I you had me there for a little bit, and then it just.
Yeah. Or what'd you think? What'd you pick up?
I don't know. I didn't see the film either. I'm not gonna lie. But I just saw comments and stuff. I did hear a couple people saying that the game was closer than the score said.
From the updates, it seemed that way.
Right.
A little early.
Things kind of just opened up. The Raptors had a really tough schedule coming out of the gate. They're seeing some of these teams that we did potentially expect them to end up winning. You know what I mean? But I mean, the Raptors are one of those teams that even looking at the teams that didn't have a win or only had 1 or 2 wins, I still saw them as one of the best teams out of those groups. I mean, there were a lot of positive things I thought I've seen over the season out of them. And if they were able to pull together out there on the road like that, it's really good for them.
That was, yeah, that's a good win to walk away with. Let's move on to Miners Mustangs. 52-30, Mustangs won. Looks like the Mustangs found a little bit of offense. What were you guys' thoughts, James?
I believe there was a couple of kick returns in that game.
Well, then I retract my offensive statement.
Brent updates the stats and the stat leaders. Yeah, I heard there was a couple kick returns towards the third quarter in that. A lot closer than what the score was. I think when Mensa called me in the third quarter it was 24-12.
Whoa. Is
And then
that breaking news?
they had it where I guess the rain started coming down and it was like a mud bowl after that.
Shane Walsh says they didn't score on kick return. So it wasn't all, perhaps. Billy Minnick, AOD. Just quick.
What happened?
We're just having a nice little back and forth here in the comments about what happened. They were both at the game. Different stories here. Thor, what'd you see?
I felt like we got to see some more offensive production out of the Miners. They've been slowly building up, and I did see they broke a couple of big rushes, one for a touchdown. I don't know. The weather does affect games, and it's kind of tough because game plans change outside of the norm when you get those kinds of conditions. But I just felt like the Miners definitely played better, and are progressively stepping up a little bit more. But Mustangs look solid.
Danny? You're muted.
Man, I didn't watch film on this. I've been way too busy this week.
It was a shot in the dark, and I see you took the James route, but I just wanted to see. I wasn't sure. But we'll move along. Buffaloes continue their dominance of the league right now. 80-20 win against the Nightmare. I don't think it's that surprising, to be honest. But what are your thoughts, James?
I don't know. I think it's a little weird that, we had a player on the podcast last episode that isn't here today and saying about how he felt like he was going to be able to, his team was supposed to handle the Buffaloes or at least come close to, and then they lost by 60 and he's nowhere to be found.
Can you state his name, please?
Yeah.
Full name. There's a lot. It's a very.
I said Josh Steele.
Oh,
how many Josh Steels are in this league?
Is that junior or senior?
There was one that played in the Jaguars, a Josh Neal, but that was a while ago.
But yeah, that is strange. A wild disappearance, especially after a 6-12 loss to the Raptors the week before. But and they felt outrageous. But how'd you feel about that game, Thor? Seemed like business as usual for Buffs.
Yeah, I mean, most of us, expected the Buffaloes to win that game. There was a lot of confidence that I saw come from some of the Nightmare players over the course of the week that they really fundamentally knew how to shut things down and that Matt Riddick was going to come and make a big impact. I'm not sure if Riddick ended up coming and playing in that game or not. But ultimately, the Nightmare were still able to put up 21 points. So, I mean, the Buffaloes seem to be a great football team. And so far, they're rolling.
I'd agree. Danny, I know you probably didn't watch the game, but what are your thoughts on Buffalo's dominance so far throughout the league?
Well, the Buffaloes, oh, excuse me, sorry. Buffaloes are just showing in and out why they're the best team in the league. Like they're
Whoa.
going out, huh?
No,
What?
keep going.
I mean,
Go.
this
Whoa.
80-21 is by far, I think, the biggest deficit. I could be wrong, but this is the biggest deficit that I've heard all season. But
40 points? I think you're wrong.
nah, I'm probably
Oh,
just
no,
crazy.
60.
Yeah.
Terrible match. Slapping myself on the wrist. Yeah, I know. I apologize. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's my take.
Fair enough. Very dominant team. Very they seem to be imposing their will. And we'll see if anybody can get in their way, you know. Let's move on to the Wildcats Comanche. It looks like it was a nail biter all the way down to the very end. I think there were some quick touchdowns that got traded, like the last 2 drives or 3 drives of the game. There were some quick ones that went back to back or back to back, one of the two. The Wildcats pulled it out, 18-15, low scoring game. What are your thoughts on that, James?
Which game were you talking about?
I don't think either of these teams are going to be happy you did that. But Wildcats Comanche.
Wildcats Comanche. A little bit of a surprise. I mean, I said that the Wildcats were going to win when I found out Q was back, but I guess they only had Comanche only had one running back. London played hurt, and from what I'm hearing, the Comanche left a lot of points off the board.
Just from some early, like some little film that I saw, it did look like a lot of missed opportunities. Some big plays got called back.
Yeah.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know. It could be the refs. Could have been the refs. But what are your thoughts, Thor? What did you see?
I'm right there with you. You know, I mean, my first thoughts were had to be a big defensive battle. You know, lower scoring game, but I feel like we expected a close matchup. I don't think either team was going to run away with it in this one. I did expect a little bit more scoring than there was, but as a whole, I mean, the Wildcats were able to get the job done.
So fair. But my bad, I was replying to Jonathan Dodson. He asked me, you know, I got the phone. I live 5 minutes from you. Danny, what are your overall thoughts so far? GEFA football. We're week what? What is this? Late week.
Honestly,
You know,
This
used to
is
seeing week
this
6.
is good to fill the void between, the Super Bowl and week 1. This is good to fill that football hole shaped in my heart, but uh I don't know, man. I yeah, I guess.
I didn't like that response one bit.
Damn.
Yeah,
Danny.
sorry about that, but I have a cold. So if you don't like that
Fair enough.
response,
Fair
blame
enough.
it
Fair
on my
enough. Fair enough.
cold.
You did tell us. You did tell us. I'll give you that. Overall, James, how do you think? Apparently we can't figure out the Wildcats. That's something that came up in the comments. But what are your overall thoughts on just the season, how it's going so far, and who would you say is your number one team right now? I don't need a top 8 or all these. I just want to know who's top.
I think right now you got to go with the Buffaloes. They've been pretty dominant in all their games that they've played so far. The Wildcats are kind of a Wildcat, but also kind of the team that we thought they were going to be. Again, wasn't expecting that Buffaloes game for the Wildcats. The Vikings game, they could have very well won that game. So I think the Wildcats are pretty much who we think they are. I still think they're in the top
Contenders?
3.
Agree.
I think they're a contender. I think they have a great chance of getting right back into the Keystone Bowl, picking up where they left off from last year, but with more consistency. Comanche, or I think it's Vikings, Buffaloes, Wildcats, Comanche. Those are like the top 4 that I see really standing out. Monk just finds a way to win. I don't know how he does it. I didn't get to see the film when of the game yet, but I plan on watching that after this. But yeah, it's so far I think the league's a lot better than last year. I think the behaviors have gotten better.
All right. Sure, I'd agree somewhat. I mean, just looking at these next couple games for some of these teams, looks like it's gonna be a pretty tight race. Finish it out. But we can move on to next week's games real quick.
Well, what did Thor say about it?
Well, what? The state of the league? He's in it.
Yeah.
Not allowed to do that.
He's the vice president.
Yeah, but the president just gave the State of the Union. Since when does the vice president stand up and give another one?
Yeah, always have
The whole
vice
chamber, the whole chamber just stood up in applause, like the broadcast would end normally.
Stop it.
Damn, James, just accept the pedestal that you're. All right. Anyway, moving on to next week. May 18th, we got 4 games, it looks like. All 1 p.m. games except for the Mustangs Vikings. That'll be at 3 p.m. Wildcats versus the Nightmare. What are your thoughts on that? Who's walking away?
Who's at home?
Wildcats, the home team.
Ooh. If we're just going into picking scores right away, I'll say Wildcats 42-22.
Who are they playing? Nightmare?
Yep.
Right. Yep.
I don't know. From what I heard from the Buffaloes, the Nightmare are a young team, and they're still trying to gel. Prince started their game out as quarterback. I don't see him not starting at quarterback next week against the Wildcats. I think Ellis will be there for the Wildcats, and it's Wildcats just compared to the Nightmare just have way too many weapons. I think it's going to be a long game for the Nightmare. I'll say Wildcats by 40.
Fair, fair. Wildcats 62-14. Moving on. We'll go to the 3 p.m. game, the Mustangs versus the Vikings. Thoughts? James? I mean, you're the only one who can give a real prediction here.
This was a game that I've heard that the Mustangs were looking forward to. It's a 3:00 game. I think somebody said in the comments, how does the Vikings get all 3:00 games?
Because I messaged their owner and said, "Hey, do you mind if we do a 3:00 game?" And they said, "No, that's cool."
Boom. Crazy what communication does.
Wow.
Yeah, communication is it. That's the pillars of our society. From what I'm hearing from the Mustangs, this was a game that they circled since last year. It was one of the games that they felt that got away from them that they should have won. And it's going to be a lot of hype at the Vikings field. It just seems like all those big games for the Vikings are at the Vikings. But
Thor what? I played at the Must last year.
What am I lying about? But I think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be not as close as it was last year. I think the Vikings get the ball rolling. I'll say they win by 2 touchdowns.
All right.
Danny, give them picks.
I'm not qualified to give picks, but
You just told.
Okay, we're well aware.
I'll say Vikings by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to sprinkle some silence on that.
Sprinkle some violence.
I do also need to bring up, because I forgot to say it, this is Military Appreciation Week.
Yes.
It is.
So make sure you're wearing your military appreciation things. You know, I know some people have like camo type gear, and I think some teams had some like military appreciation jerseys and stuff like that. But just an update. Moving on to the next game, Warriors versus Miners, 1 p.m. game. The Warriors are home.
I think this is a bounce back game for the Warriors. I think they felt like they shouldn't have lost to the Comanche 2 weeks ago. And so I think this is going to be a good game for the Warriors to bounce back with. Miners have shown improvement this season. They've showed that they could actually win this year with a big win over the Crusaders. But that's a dip to go to Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
I don't see them coming with the full squad. And I say the Warriors win by 50.
With Gary not at quarterback because he's out in injury, who do you think is going to play quarterback?
Jeez, I didn't. Who was it? Number 16, the Wildcat.
Prez.
Think they're gonna
Trayvon?
establish that a little bit? I mean, given the opponent, and just like, no offense to the Miners or anything, but I feel like they might be confident in that type of lineup just to go for a game or a game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Trayvon's probably going to be the quarterback for this one, and it's going to be a lot of Wildcat type sets, and it's I just don't see the Miners being able to compete with that.
Yeah, he's a really good runner. Really decisive.
56, 56 to 22, Warriors.
I'll go 58-30 Warriors.
Key says the Warriors have been bouncing back since week 1. They're 3-3.
No, they're not. I'm looking at they're 4-2.
Read it again, Danny.
Got 4 wins.
They
It
definitely
says
Warriors are 3-3.
they're 3-3, huh?
Vikings, Wildcats.
Well, then PA Football News is wrong.
Oh, shock.
I don't know. I don't work for PA Football News. I work for the GEFA. So
Duke says 30 to 24 Miners.
wow, that's an upset.
The Warriors are booty meat.
Warriors booty meat.
I think the Warriors score at least 40. I think a little. A special team score here or there. I think that, yeah. No win by about 3 touchdowns. I'm start going James route. Not saying he scores and just saying amount of touchdowns they score by or win by. Jonathan Dodson said, "Do
And
you
I
get
could
paid, James?" I want to answer that myself. Yes, he does.
no,
I
I
want to go on
don't.
record. This dude, look at that vintage Rocky Balboa 1983 custom vinyl poster behind him. That thing
Fucking vinyl. Where are you getting this?
that came from the Wildcats player fees.
I've had that since 2012.
Wildcats been in the league since 2008 or something. So
2005. I've been in the league since 2016.
man,
Next.
fair enough. Fair enough. You don't got a good defense against everything you got hanging up back there, but we'll go. We'll move on.
Where would you
Final
like to?
nothing. No, you're good. You're good. But
Afterwards.
final game of the week, Military Appreciation Week, is Comanche Crusaders. The Comanche are the home team.
Ooh, could be a good one.
Jay. Sadly, you won't, but I was looking forward to breaking your other hand. Anyway, Crusaders, Comanche. Comanche, the home team. I think Comanche get the dub.
Yeah.
Man, Duke is going through it.
Comanche,
He
40.
picked the Miners, and then as soon as he found out that Trayvon was quarterback, he switched it to the Warriors.
Ooh,
Lee Townsend says Comanche 21-7.
I think the Comanche offense figures it out, possibly.
All depends on if London's injured. I think this is a great game for them to get back on track offensively.
My bad.
I'll say the Comanche win quite easily. I'll say Comanche by 30. I just don't see the Crusaders having an answer for the Comanche defensive line.
I'll say Comanche by 35.
What are you trying to one up me now? I say by 30, you say 35.
I like your pick, Danny.
Thank you, Thor.
It's like Thor. I'll be the good guy.
Thank you, Thor.
Yeah.
That I was moderating your comments. Where are we? Where are we at, James?
Crusaders Comanche.
Crusaders Comanche. I think I already answered. Did you have any more thoughts on it? Did you want to go further in depth on
No,
this possible shellacking?
I thought you were reading the comments.
Oh no, the comments went completely left. But I had something typed out. I had to delete it, and that's where we're at. So, yeah, looking forward to Military Appreciation Week.
Yeah, hopefully we get something really good when it comes to military appreciation. Thor, what do you got planned for military appreciation?
I'm still nailing a few things down. I got a lot of irons in the fire, trying to make sure it's a special day. We have a player that's serving overseas right now. We have another player that's not playing this year that's going to come and wear his jersey and be there for the coin toss. And I plan to send a message out to Billy. I want to get a message, or I want to get a list of all of the military, all the players in the game and coaches who served in the military. And we got a couple things in the works.
Looking forward to a successful weekend. Go ahead, Jane. Sign us off.
Barry, you got anything else?
No, that's all I got. Danny, anything?
Any other topics?
No, sir.
Now I'm good over here.
You touched on everything we needed to. Beginning, middle, and end there.
All right. So, guys, make sure we have a good week. Be healthy, be safe. Don't be goofs.
See y'all in the real.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keith is going to go with the thirst trapped over in the real.
GEFA signing off.
Enjoy your 4 hours of screaming. Later, guys.
Peace.